games tonight. Let's make sure we give them both a good time. So we've got Oceaneers here today. To be clear, this game is not actually releasing for 2 more days. It is releasing into early access, but with it being early access, according to this, the way it's written here, is you will actually be able to play the entire story, and most of the content and all that will be available. There are some things that won't be available. I don't know what specifically they are, but it does sound like they're taking the approach of early access of being like, you can complete the game, and then later on we will add more features. Which I think is reasonable. That does actually circumvent my main frustration with early access, which is I play the game, you get 30, 40, 50, 60% of the game, and it goes, okay, you finished, no more till later, and then later doesn't happen. For me, that like, I just can't bring myself to want to play through the beginning of the game again. With that said, we're going to go ahead and go into our options, see what accessibility stuff they have. You can turn on and off edge pan. Thank you so much for that one. That helps with people get motion sickness. I did notice kind of a party foul on this one, and the party foul here is I use the Dvorak keyboard. So if I say pan up and I hit that button, it accepts it, but it doesn't seem to actually acknowledge it because it's a special character. So I've got that problem there where you've got your control configuration here, but I can't actually use it. So a little bit of a party foul on the accessibility there, that you have made it so you can rebind your keys, but you've limited what keys I can actually use. So hopefully during the early access that changes. I'd love it to just recognize that, you know, there are more layouts of keyboards that are used other than QWERTY, and they are very common these days. QWERTY's still the king, QWERTY's still the big one, but it is getting a larger and larger and larger portion of the population that use other layouts. Typically for considerations with, you know, other languages like Asserty and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you tried, but there's a problem there that it does need to support special characters. Because a lot of layouts, you'll be hitting special characters. Sound, nothing really to say here on a big level. You've got your sound, it's got adjustments, it's good, no complaints. Not a whole lot to say about graphics, there's not a whole lot there. And they don't mention motion blur or dithering or any of the other things that tend to trigger motion sickness. So that could be good or bad depending on if those are actually in the game. But regardless, it does look like they have some accessibility stuff, and they made an attempt on 1 or 2 that need a little tweaking, but that's okay. It is early access. For the record, this is the early access build, not a demo. This is what you will be able to buy in like 2 or 3 days. Maybe they'll have like a bug patch or something between now. Let's go ahead and start a brand new game. Loading courage, error not found. Rolling for charisma, critical failure. Excellent. Fresh start. Before everything went sideways, including the raft, your group lucked into a haul of food and feasted like shipwrecked royalty. Belly's full, you manage a decent night's sleep. There's still some food left, though somebody definitely licked it already. Recommended for new players. This is the default experience with reasonable starting conditions. We would start with 3 survivors. They're well fed, their resolve is high, and their health is high. We start with a bunch of things. I'm assuming that's fish, stick, bamboo, coconut, open coconut? Question mark? Barely survived. Things were bad enough before the raft wrecked. The group was almost nabbed by crabs. They haven't eaten for days. Resolve is at an all-time low, and the group is one bad joke away from mutiny. They managed to grab a few supplies at the last second, just enough to keep hope alive. Barely. Okay, this is a rough start recommended for experienced players where you'll need to get supplies to improve your mood fast, making the start of the game more difficult. Survivors are tired and hungry, you will have 4 of them. The resolve is very low and their health is average. And we get stick thing and bamboo thing. Punching sharks. Someone got the brilliant idea to fend off a shark with a punch. The shark took offense and a sizable chunk of their leg. Now there's a nasty bite and it won't stop leaking. The crew's shaky and the resolve is shrinking faster than the raft did. On the bright side, you technically did land the punch. Recommended for experienced things, you'll start with very poor condition and have additional ongoing challenges, making this more difficult. You'll start with 2 people, they're tired and hungry, the resolve is very low, their health is very low, shark spawns are increased, 1 survivor is wounded. Okay, so this is the first one that starts with our stuff. So you have major shark bite, so -2 health per hour. Use a bandage to remove walk speed -1. Chronic wound. Punching a shark wasn't the brightest idea. Now you have that wound that just won't heal and bleeds every day. Smooth sailing. Recommended for relaxed players. Everything was going swimmingly. Good food, great vibes, raft full of goodies. Then someone leaned too fast, trying to high-five a seagull, and the whole thing tipped. At least everyone's fine, and you've got half the pantry. Start with good spirits, and you're well-stocked, making the start of the game easier. You start with 3 crew, they're well-fed, have high resolve and health. They're well-rested and determined. And it looks like these are pretty similar to the things we got from the other one. Plus, we'd get a toilet and a fishing post. Your energy depletes slower, and you're well-rested at the beginning. It looks like that'll drop off after a while. When losing resolve, lose less. When gaining resolve, gain more. Okay, and that... I could see letting that roll over to the other side, or as a counter-argument, putting the smooth sailing over here. Because it seems like it goes default, like normal, hard, harder, easiest. Which is just a little counterintuitive, that easiest is hidden after all that. We're going to start with a fresh start default setting. Because we don't know anything going on here. Okay. We'll go ahead and do this. Because it does appear that I might be able to name people. So we'll do this here. So if you'd like to be named after, or survivor named after you, get your hat in the ring. And we'll figure out what we got. So you can have a gastrophysicist, a captain, a retired pirate, which is not available yet, an aquaculturist, gender. They've got survivor, science officer, scavenger, navigator, angler, and gastrophysicist, and captain. And it looks like there's like 4 or 5 that aren't in the game yet. And it does say traits do not stack. So it does look like if I were to grab 2 positive traits that had similarities, I would not gain the benefit of that. And it does look like this is the Project Zomboid style where there's a point system. Where, you grab something good, it makes your points lower. You grab something bad, it makes your points higher. And you must be at least positive at the end. Or sorry, neutral to positive. You gotta be 0 or up. You can't be negative. That's the important bit. Alright. You're watching Treacle play this the other day? Oh, gotcha. I didn't realize Treacle had played this. I haven't been able to catch many streams with everything going on here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get our first person here. And our first person here is going to be Dragar. Alright. I'm not going to customize the aesthetic because that'll take too long. Okay. So we could have a survivor, a science officer, a scavenger, a navigator, an angler. So one thing I'm noticing with this is it seems like this might just be forcing traits because it says +1 to all skills, but these are the other things here. So it looks like you could kind of do your same thing where you like science because combat ain't your style. Yeah, so the question is, if we look here, so the science officer is +3 science, +1 cooking. So you basically have lab tech. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. I was going to say it looks like you could actually just, make the science officer based on the survivor. That does not appear to actually be the case. Alright, so you've got 1 point remaining for a trait we could choose. We've got Dainty Appetite, which lowers the rate you get hungry. Fast Learner, you gain XP faster. Hard Worker, you gain 20% XP when harvesting and salvaging tasks. Ice Noodle, immune to brain burn. Temperature Insulation, which I guess makes you safer against cold weather. Charges float regulators twice as fast. Skin Pocket has an extra equipment slot. That's uncomfortable. You can drink polluted water without getting sick. You can punch palm trees to harvest them really, really slowly. Cannot perform research tasks. Loses energy faster. Does harvesting tasks slower. Less hit points. Hunger faster. Can't salvage. Can't equip gloves. More prone to temperature loss. And you learn slower. In this case, I don't know what brain burn is. But the problem with the, the prison pocket. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give you the one because you've got a point. That's 1 point. I don't know what brain burn does, but I'm assuming it's bad. So we've got our first candidate. We'll go ahead and draw the next person. So we've got Rongor. It said under it? Said what under it? Yeah, it just says can train all day. I get that. I'm assuming something happens with training that causes brain burn. But like I still don't know what that means. And that could just be flavor text. It's hard to know. Is there a crafter? We can see here. I would say the closest to crafter might be scavenger. So you can collect debris and all that kind of stuff. And you get extra XP for scavenging and all that. I would say that's the closest. Yeah. And we've got 1 point. We will make you a hard worker. Oh, wait. It says... 1 second. Traits do not stack. So the curiosity here is when it says traits do not stack, let's check. Do we go hard worker? Right. So that's what's saying, is I can't just double dip hard worker. But the curiosity here... Yeah, so that only gives me that. Yeah, so I'll have a hard worker, because that gives you a bonus for harvesting and salvaging, and you're probably going to be salvaging. So we're gonna double dip on that as much as it'll let us. Now granted, it does say they don't stack, so we might not get the 10 plus the 20. I'm okay with that. Because I don't want to figure out all the traits yet. And then we got our last person here. What were the other traits? So you've got Debris Whisperer. So you find extra resources when completing a salvaging task. You're bad at science. But you're good at salvaging. As far as the other traits, like... We can get, like, Tree Puncher, which is like you can harvest very slowly without a tool. Yeah, I can pick 2 more, but it's a point system. So if I grab, like, Steel Stomach, now I'm on bad points, so I gotta go down here and take something bad, too. And since we don't know the game enough yet, I'm kind of playing it a little bit easier on the traits, till we have a better understanding of the game. Oh! I just caught that the temperature insulation is called Love Handles. So the one where you're able to withstand temperatures that are more severe is called Love Handles. Excellent. Yeah, but it seems pretty straightforward. Like you can harvest without tools, just really badly. You can drink polluted water. You get 1 extra storage. Whatever the charges float regulators, you could do it faster. Wasn't that the Phineas and Ferb band? I have no idea. I've seen some Phineas and Ferb, but a lot of that was after my time. Alright, last we got Infinity Simplex. Alright, so we're not going to have 2 of the same. We already have a Science Officer and a Scavenger. So we've got a Navigator. We got an Angler. We got a Gastrophysicist, which basically seems like they're going to be a cook. And a Captain. The Captain seems to have a ridiculously high level of seafaring, but is terrible at just about everything else. Now, we obviously haven't done a lot, so we don't really know. Oh, interesting, the Angler is like good at one food thing and bad at the other, which is fair. The navigator, so there is a crafting skill in the game. Okay, so our science officer will have a little bit of cooking skill, so they can secondary of cooking. The scavenger can just do scavenging. The tight shift reduces the travel time and provision cost by 10% and does not stack. Being terrible at pretty much anything would feel on brand for you, but also having got tries. I'm leaning towards potentially taking the captain, because it actually seems like this tight ship thing where it reduces the provision cost of travel and travel time feels like that's probably pretty good. You know, the fact that you're, like, crafting is probably going to be Rongor, harvesting might also be Rongor. Honestly, these all might be Rongor here. Okay. And none of these are like, this is the one that seems to, in an island-based game, maybe? Yeah. Let's go with Dainty Appetite. Well, that's the thing. If we check on Dragar, Dragar does have cooking. So Dragar has 1 point in cooking versus the Gastro has, I believe, is 2 or 3. Alright, so let's go figure out how this works. So we got our initial crew. Okay, we have a bunch of stuff going on. Alright, we have another difficulty things. Normal, balanced, need, management, and threats. You will probably survive. Shark's breakfast, slightly more intense needs management, threats are more dangerous. Easy breezy, peaceful mode with easy needs and safe survivors. Chill and enjoy the story, custom. So again, I'd give the same feedback to the devs. Having it set to normal to start with, good. Put easy above normal, so it goes easy, medium, hard, because it is weird to go medium, hard, easy, and then make it yourself. So it looks like they're going to have alpha wildlife spawns later, resource abundance and debris amount will be changeable later. Ethical junk heap. Excellent. Now, ethical-ish junk heap. Before everything went sideways, including the raft, your group lucked down a haul of food. Okay, so that's literally just the same thing we read again. Raft wrecked, your story begins. Click to continue. Well, there goes our ride, sunk without saying goodbye. We'd best whip up a new raft and fast. This island might just, let's see, be on its way down too. Yeah, who knows what ancient duct-taped float tech contraption is this island's got beneath it. Maybe it's a class 3. Or we'd have held together by bubblegum and wishes. Either way, let's hope for the best. Okay, zoom. Move around. Okay. Not beach reed, not very tasty, but technically edible. Open the character sheet and toggle auto jobs and more. Equip toggles here. Okay, we can move them. Right-click on the beach reef to give the selected character that. Alright, so Rongor is the one likely to be good. All those. Well done. You can also hold shift to queue tasks and work post to automate tasks. For now, jump right in and get surviving. Tutorials can be disabled in the menu. Alright. There's a science cube basic. So let's have you go grab the science cube. You need a shovel. Alright. So I found stone resource. You have the ability to craft a bunch of stuff. Let's get you back to shore. Alright, so... Oh, here. Read the strange note. Food. Food is essential to survival. Build a food crate so survivors can access food. Each food resource provides different benefits. You can eat raw ingredients, but as you progress, you'll be able to cook prepared meals for greater benefits. Most food spoils. Cooking food increases the spoilage time. Spoiled food can be useful for composting, but too much waste before you can store it will cause stinky waste piles. A note. You uncovered a tattered, salt-stained note. Most of it's been claimed by water, time, and the very determined seagulls. But a few lines remain. Something about a hatch buried in the sand pile, and a warning to keep them out. The author apparently went searching for an access card. Whether they found it, or something else found them, is anyone's guess. The corner of the faint scribble catches your eye. D6. You don't need a map to tell where these... Let's see, you don't need a map to tell you where these coordinates are, but you do need a raft to find your way to lead there. And in reality, it was someone's Dungeons & Dragons campaign and had nothing to do with anything like that. Okay, so we read the strange note. Cool. Investigate the abandoned glider. We got dirty water. Island work post. Manage building. Okay. So you have to have jobs enabled on your worksheet. Automation. Jobs on, characters' needs. Gotcha, okay. Okay, so with that, Infinity Simplex is our person for moving the ship around, which I'm not seeing anything here that mentions anything about that, so cool, I guess. Can I switch through characters from here? Yes, I can. Alright, so we've got Dagar. Dagar is our researcher. Oh, okay. It already had that. Okay, so it's already actually got some, like, baseline adjusted based on your needs. Okay, so it looks like they'll have that. I'm just going to tell you to work everything, because we don't know what we're doing. And it's probably going to yell at me on half of these, being like, I don't know how. What do I do? Please to help. Scout glider abandoned. So yeah, you go and check that out as well. Meanwhile, you stand around and do nothing. There you go. Alright. An abandoned scout glider, courtesy of the previous inhabitants, after a few minor repairs and a firm invocation of finders keepers, it'll be good as new. We can use this scout, the region, and places to send expedition. Now that's progress. Repair. Scouting. Time to start scouting. Open the map and select a sector to scout. Pick a scout for the glider and provisions. Once dispatched, the scout will journey to the sector, explore for a while, then report back their finding. Scouts can find points of interest, including suitable expeditions, traders, unique locations, and more. Alright. So you already got those two done. So you want me to send the first expedition. Okay, well, let's see. So float tech, that's fine. Exploration, that's fine. Production, survival, that's a medical crate, primitive bed, food. So there's our food crate. I do see the shark to the top. It'll put our cooking spot. Characters can also be selected from the character list. Buildings have you have unlocked or researched appear in the building bar. Select the building to place in the world. Using the work post, you can automate characters can harvest nodes you mark with these tools. View resources you collect in the resource bar. View the weather forecast and research progress here. You can fast forward time and all that there. Story objectives and all that on the right. Lastly, the handbook contains important information, notes, and tutorials if you're ever stuck. Look there. There's a bunch of sharks way up there. Alright. So UI basics. We can read the stuff from here. We can see all the information from up there. It's got the handbook. We got the mini-map. And then cooking. Cooking food with benefits. Sure, survivors can eat raw food, but cooked food has way more nutrition and improves mood. Not getting food poisoning is pretty neat as well. Cooking extends spoil time. Cooking is the easiest way to make food last longer, reducing the waste and helping your colony stretch its supplies. Find ingredients to learn recipes. The more ingredients you have, the more recipes you'll discover. Some require butchering or processing first. Prepared meals are chef's kiss. Prepared meals grant bonus effect for several hours. Each survivor has one prepared meal slot by default. Most cooking stations need fuel to cook. Remember to add fuel or set up fuel automation. Some buildings like Jerky Rack don't need fuel. Let's wait to do that until we know our situation out here. Okay, so you want me to take the mini-map. Was it through this? Because you want me to do an expedition. Send out your first expedition. Expedition station required. Okay, fair enough. So the expedition thing there. Basic raft is needed. Scout glider. So pretty much we need them to just keep on working on collecting all the different things. They're collecting some wood and all that out here. Getting started. First, we'll need crafting table to make basic items. Gather the required resources, then place them from the building bar. After building is placed, command a character to construct it. When it's ready, command a character to craft. The crafting queue stays with the building so they can do something else and come back to crafting it more later. New crafting recipes unlock as you discover new resources. You can also research advanced technology at the crafting stations. Okay, so you want me to build a crafting table. And it'll let them continue to harvest what they can harvest. Well, that's interesting. So the first thing, it's like, there is no work post. No one's in range to work on it. And then Infinity or Dragar is like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. What do you mean there's not in range? Yep, no, it's, even though it's like it's not in range, they're just working at it anyways. I'm guessing there's probably a distance we can go, and that once we exceed that distance, the sharks will cause us grief. Right now, let's stick to just the stuff nearby. Okay. So, manage building. Alright. So, you can make a coconut shovel. Let's see. Stone axe. The crude fishing rod. Couple simple bait. And we'll start there. I was actually expecting you to do that. That's fine. What I would like you to do is some work, though. Because right now you're just standing there. Tools and equipment. Select a character and click on a tool slot to equip it. You can equip items and clothing from the character sheet. Weapons go in the weapon slot. Tools are essential for gathering resources and building a thriving colony. Some resources require the right tool, type, and tier. Build crafting table to craft basic tools. Advanced crafting stations will allow you to get stronger tools. Belts and backpacks give more tool slots. Tools require rare resources, but they don't break, and you can dismantle them. Gotcha. So, let's go to your character sheet. Okay. So, we need the bed. That's going to require some rope. Go here. Get some rope on there. Bird stealing food. I mean, I can't do much about it right now. You pry open the science capsule. It is unmistakable scent of corporate blueprints slaps your brain pan. Like a wet cod. A new blueprint fragment. Okay. Whoa, Flowtech blueprint? Now that's a rare find. They're real? I thought they were just a myth. The corporation worked at some really strange projects that could improve our survival chances, though. Let's get it built and see what it does. Okay, so we've got the research bench. Okay, so that requires a glass bottle and some rope. Alright. So get working on the next one. Yep, and this is where we cut down all the trees on the island, and then everybody dies. You get a crude fishing rod. I'll give that to you for now. Yeah, so we need more wood. These dudes need beds? Yes, they will. The problem is I need more lumber for that. There's an accents hatch. Something is preventing it from opening. Because I noticed this island doesn't have stuff underneath it. And thank you, Craven Horde, for the 170 stream streak. I do appreciate it. What the? Some kind of advanced device. This is a sure strange island. You're right, something feels off. I haven't felt a single rumble or shake. Now that you mention it, neither have I. Let's check this device out and figure out what the seagull-loving heck is going on. Inspect island. Class X, unsinkable. The access hatch is locked. Anchored, lowered, terminals 4, storage room 2, gas leak detected, basement flooded. Overcrowding plus 35. It's okay. Nautilus colony engine is offline. Deploy control panel. Research enhancer enhances research. So yeah, so it's implying there's a whole underground area. Hang on. This dang thing must be broken. Did you try turning off and on again? There's no fancy buttons on this gadget. Hold up. The device is working. This island is held up by a Class X float tech. No way. Luckiest raft wreck ever. So this island is unsinkable. That's amazing. But it's tiny. We've got our work cut out for us to turn this into a thriving colony. No time to waste. Let's build a raft and explore nearby sectors. We'll need every scrap of resource we can find. You have stumbled upon a hidden gem that is waterlogged world. It's almost enough to make you want to return to those soggy raft boots for good. Almost. Thanks, Float Tech Corporation. But hold on to your coconuts. Even though it's unsinkable, this island is tiny and your survivors have needs that won't fit in your back pocket. Still, we've got a chance, albeit a wee one. Send your crew on expeditions, scrounge up some booty, and who knows what you'll be able to uncover with some Flowtech wizardry and expand our slice of paradise into a haven for even more survivors. Good luck. So you're making the rope now. And you need wood. And right now we already have someone cutting the wood. Thoughts so far? We're very, very early in, so I don't have too much in the way of thoughts quite yet. Just because we haven't had a chance to get far enough for any of it to matter. Okay, so you should be able to build those now, giving us 2 beds. Actually, it implies it only wants to give us 1 bed. Can we get rid of you real quick? Energy and sleeping. Your character energy depletes over time. Some tasks will deplete energy faster. Your character, when tired, will move and work slower. Characters that are idle won't use much energy. They can also relax by a campfire to conserve energy. Build a bed to sleep to recover energy. Gain more energy from sleeping at night. Some traits will change this. We already did the island inspection thing. We kind of figured out all this stuff anyways. Yeah, and it gives you like a rank for all that. Yeah, so it's going to cancel this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so cancel that one. So we're going to build the 1 bed. Because I want to be a little bit careful. So we need the expedition station. and put you down here. So be a little careful on what we go. It sort of gives Don't Starve vibes. Yeah, so it kind of gives me Don't Starve vibes. It kind of gives me Oxygen Not Included vibes. I'm not sure where it kind of lands in that whole spectrum of things. So you go to sleep first. Oh, open the handbook. Cool. Build the research station. We'll get that next. That's depending on glass. We'll need a basic raft. So we need 1 raft part and 3 rope. We'll need more wood, which we're working on. World map. With an expedition station, you can access the map for scouting expeditions. Open the map from the expedition station. Your home colony is in the middle of the world region. Each region is divided into sectors using coordinates. Click on the sector for more details. First, send scouts to explore the sector. They'll reveal points of interest, maybe even a good spot to send an expedition. Find or build a scout glider to send scouts. You can send multiple scouts at once. Okay, so you need a raft plank. And rope. Yep, so once we get that tree cut down, I should be able to make a little raft. And then we can send out expeditions. So let Rongor take first shift sleeping, and then you're probably going to go scout. And then when someone else needs to sleep. Okay, and with that we can go raft plank. And then for this one, we need a glass bottle. Day 2 begins. Weather outlook, light rain. Fuel cost is ×2. Solar still, 40% efficiency. Solar still at night, 20% efficiency. No food spoiled. All characters gained 5 resolve. Okay. Send scout. Choose scout. You're the scientist. Well, actually, you're the navigator, captain, whatever. We'll have you do this. Okay, 3 hours. Arrive on day 2, hour 3. Takes 4 hours to go. Provisions. I didn't think that the whole way through. Oh. So I could fish, but the shark is eating the fish there. I see. So the sharks will stay in an area and then occasionally migrate away. You're both cold. Roasted island salad. We're missing an upgrade to it. Turn it back off again. Okay. So you're gonna go to sleep. And meanwhile, you can start working on that. I don't know what the range is, which worries me. It definitely seemed to, like, chill in an area. Okay. Name your raft. Doomed from the start. Nah, just doomed. Leaning towards what? It's a seagull that's been stabbed. Done. Driving rafts. Right-click on the engine or paddle to drive the raft. Rafts can be used both at your home colony and while out in expeditions. Left-click the base of the raft to select it, not the character. Right-click to move the selected raft. Larger rafts can have more cargo space for expeditions. Raft speed depends on size, engines, and drivers. Multiple survivors can drive the raft. You can build a bigger raft. Dock your raft at the raft dock to expand it and add buildings. Bigger docks allow even bigger rafts. Okay, so I think the idea is we would send people out here to go collect things. Alright, so Rongor is our scavenging person. So they're probably going to be the one doing the most raft work of just go out, find stuff where there's not a shark actively trying to hunt them, hop on the raft, bring it home, that kind of thing. It's alarming that the third character portrait is gone, and it says doomed. Rongor is elbow deep into salvaging debris when, without warning, it loses all sense of physics, and it begins to sink. Do your best to grab one more item. Put your expertise to work. Grab multiple items. Let's just grab one more item. It's fine. They have a wetness gauge, and Dragar's very rapidly getting upset. Yeah, so we need to find the glass. We need to find dirt. We don't have the ability to do anything with water yet. There's a medical box. I guess we might as well make the medical... That's not what we need. Might as well make the medical box while we're sitting here. Hey Nate, how's it going? Thank you so much for the 25 stream streak. I do appreciate it. We've been having a good one. I hope you enjoy your lurk and all that. Alright. And hey, pretty pictures. Good to have you as well, also doing your lurk. 245 stream streak, so thank you so much for that. Let's see, early scavenging. Spotted some sharks, and too scared to swim. Resources won't gather themselves. Early on, you'll need to brave the ocean and scavenge what you can. Yes, that means getting your feet wet. You'll also need to send survivors swimming to scavenge floating resources. Don't worry, if you survive long enough to build a raft, it'll be almost smooth sailing. Alright. New recipe found. Campfire roasted berries. And meanwhile, Rongor is scavenging with the best of them. Sector 4 scouting complete. This is your home colony. So the sector has a palm tree, a bunch of berries, sand crystals, sand piles, small stones, a blueprint, 3 islands, and a recruitable survivor. Gotcha. Expeditions preparing. Great, you've got a raft and a destination. It's time to prep for your first expedition. Open the map, select the sector with the expedition mark. Pick your raft, characters, and provisions and cargo. You'll be notified when your crew arrives, then it's your turn to take control of the expedition. Oh, we don't die? Alright. Good having Drake. Alright, so let's get you back on the raft. Clean water. A clean water source is essential for survival. Research and build a solar still to produce clean water. The solar still is a primitive device. Survivors fill it up with water from the ocean and wait for clean, drinkable water. Some gadgets, like the rain collector, don't need filling, but they require rain. Survivors can drink from water producers, but if you want to use the water for cooking, cargo, or provisions, you're going to need to build water barrels. Once you've got a water storage, you can collect water from water producers like the solar still. Collect the stored water in the current zone in the top bar. That's cool and all, but I need... Oh, we do have a glass bottle. Hold up. Okay, so in that case, you need... Make a plank and 2 rope. And then we can bring this back and get ourselves a research station. All right. And you should take care of that. Now the research station, then Dragar can take care of that. So let's go research station. All right. Important. View the search and replay tutorials from the handbook. If you ever get stuck, check there. I'm not stuck. This isn't Don't Starve. It does have some aesthetics that make it feel Don't Starve. But it kind of feels a little Oxygen Not Included, a little Don't Starve. Somewhere in that vague, broad area. Okay, so you're back from the glider. You're gonna go chop that tree down. Yeah, so you're getting thirsty, you're getting hungry, you need to use the restroom. Yeah, no, the graphics are very Don't Starve, but the gameplay is very different. Let's see. Nice. A research table. It's science time. Choose a research topic from the research tab. Researching takes time, so choose wisely. Your colony might just depend on it. Assign a character to the research station to progress. Some research requires advanced research. Only characters with high enough science can tackle those. Research progress is shown in the top bar. You can click on it to change the research topic. Building upgrades can also be researched. Once researched, you must construct the upgrade at the building. Special research topics can be unlocked with blueprint fragments. Send expeditions to explore and find more. Okay, so we're going to immediately go to the research bench. Click any research topic to make it active. Survivors working on the research table will progress that topic. Scroll to the right sections by dragging using the scroll bar. Jump to any research section with the section buttons on the left. Everything without a lock can be researched and built. Special topics unlock upgrades for buildings. Some topics require advanced research as well as basic research. To perform advanced research, you need to upgrade your research table. You also need a colonist with Science Mastery 1 trained at the Study Nook. Alright. So we got the food crate. Yeah, and this is early... Well, so, it's not out yet. This game comes out in 2 days, but this is the early access build that will become available. So, one of the things we're looking is we are going to need water. It is recommending the basic toilet. Okay, so it's got multiple. So we want a primitive solar still. Let's get that going right away. Because I'm noticing some of my people are getting a little bit thirsty. We're doing what we can. So how are you doing sleep-wise? Let's have you jump on the raft. And see what we can find up here. Alright, doesn't seem to be interactable yet. Okay. So just working our way around. You're sleepy, you're going to bed. Not just Oceaneers underwater. No. It's actually very different than Oceaneers, I would say. Like, only having something engineering sounding in its name being the only overlap between those two. Okay, so you're getting our still ready. That'll be important because right now we don't have a renewable source of water. Alright, toilets. Need to go, then you need a toilet. Yes, you can go in the sand or in the ocean, but you'll still get the soiled condition, and it's awfully embarrassing. You'll need to research toilets before you can build them. Toilets have a storage limit, and they need to be emptied. You can only empty toilets if your colony has spare waste storage. Okay, you start working on those. I know you're getting mighty thirsty. We are actively trying to solve this problem. Okay. So I need a rope and a bucket. Let's get that going immediately. Rope, and for a bucket I need 2 more planks, 2 more rope. Let's get the primitive still going as quick as we can. Actually, for that matter. Let's get you over here as quickly as we can. Dragar's leveled up crafting. Cool. Okay, in the meantime, we can go to you, because we'll need the next thing. So that's for our water, and it's telling us the next thing we're going to need is a basic toilet. Let's get that going. Alright, with that, we should... just need the bucket itself. And hopefully very soon we'll get that going, because we are struggling with a lot of this. Because we'll need to both build this thing, and then I'm assuming it takes a while to actually give us water. Okay. It's gone a lot. So how did the comparison to Oceaneers come to be? Just mostly the name, I believe. Because they very much don't really have anything in common. Kick a tree. Alright, so you're gonna start getting clean water. In the meantime, day 3 begins. So it's going to be a clear sky today. The solar still will work at full capacity. No food spoiled, and everyone got a little bit more resolve. I'm having them manually go eat a little bit. Is this a sponsored segment? No, this is not sponsored. I do appreciate the desire to support, but yeah, no, this is not sponsored. The devs just gave us a key, and we had multiple people who brought up being like, "Hey, this is a game I'd be curious of seeing that, you know, has been around or whatever." So I was like, "All right, let's check it out." All right. The stone pickaxe is going to require more stone than we have. The stone shovel can clear debris. We currently have a coconut shovel. Let's go ahead and make the stone shovel. All right. So trees do grow back, just not very fast. Okay, I want to collect a bunch of this junk that's all around us as best we can. We can expedition to other areas. Okay, so you have that. Let's go to you. You're going to take the stone shovel instead. We're going to go here. Well, that's interesting. So we have to dismantle the stone tools, but the coconut shovel I can't seem to dismantle. Which is okay, I guess. You're doing fine for the moment. So if you hop on the raft. And get over here and start collecting goods. It feels like that's not what you want. I'll have to figure that out, because I don't want them to yoink up the roots of the plant. Like, that's for something where we probably go over here, rip up that palm tree, and then move it down here kind of thing. Can I have you swim out there and join as well? So you're both working. And apparently we can also make the raft larger. But he's stranded on an island with a small group. One of them was more pixelgraph, the other was slightly more action. Big survivors. Yeah, no, there is a game called Raft. That is like your survival crafter game that's thematically similar. You've also got, there's a like city builder kind of game that I'm blanking on the name of off the top of my head. What was it, Flotsam? There's been a number of games that have explored the idea of the planet is flooded, you make raft. Like it's been a theme that's been reused a good number of times. Which it makes sense. It's a pretty straightforward theme. Yes, that takes a while to give us fresh water. I'm glad you people can hold needing to use a restroom for, like, multiple days. Alright, so we got a basic toilet. So you just need a rope, fair enough. So you can go here, rope, close. And then that'll give us a basic toilet. There's a cargo limit of 15. I'll go ahead and put the toilet right by where our fresh water is. It's definitely good decisions. We shouldn't think about any farther than that. Okay. And thank you, Fistful, for the 100 stream streak. I do appreciate it. I do hope you've been enjoying the stream. Okay, I'll check on that later. Alright, now we have a glorious toilet. Let's get our next research figured out. Upgrade for a deep hole. Basic poster frames, that adds decoration. So production, we can get a workbench. Let's make copper tools. A stone splitter, which lets us cut rock. A wood splitter. Produces planks using less resources and can cut stronger types of wood. We have all those. A fishing post, which allows us to use a fishing rod. A stinky pit. A crude way to get rid of some waste, degrades over time, eventually disappearing. Lowers the island's beauty and produces waste. That lets us store stuff for later. So we can make the fishing post. Actually look at the ones it recommends and go for those. Okay, so it's recommending we make the fishing post. Fair enough. We just have Rongor out here collecting all the goodies we can. Alright, Phineas Simplix gained a point in science. Because they're a scavenger. If we look at Rongor's stats here, they have bonuses to scavenging. So because they have bonuses to scavenging, I'm having them do the scavenging. So yeah, the Survivalists, spin-offs from the same universe as the Escapists, Team 17, released in 2020. Gotcha. Alright, so bear with me, chat. I'm going to step away here for just a couple of minutes. It sounds like everyone got home, so I just want to quickly say hi and all that. And then I'll get back up here in just a minute. Let me go ahead and move this. Alright, so we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Okay. Let's see. The clip just jump scared you. You're playing RimWorld. Oh, like when you're just playing and just hear like the and you're like, oh god, what? Or like the detonation from one of the things. So it seems like they'll take care of their stuff themselves. So you're sleepy and hungry. I'm hoping you'll just... We'll do that. So they actually take care of themselves. You're all waiting on food and all that. So it's a little weird that, like, you stop doing that. Literally, this is the science officer. You do the science. So you went and got your water. Okay, so I'm probably going to need another solar still. So let's see what it takes to do that. So that'll be a bucket and a rope. So the bucket is 2 planks, 2 rope, and I'm out of plant fiber. Okay. This is going to take me a little while for all that to get done, so Rongor can work on their crafting a little bit. Crabs can be trapped or tamed. You think the RimWorld sounds are, at this point, the largest share of scares for many Twitch viewers? Yep. Or the whole, like, sound when someone dies was like, murng. Alright. It's definitely how you cook. You definitely cook by just, like, pawing at the fire. We're making roasted berries, which are supposed to give us, more benefit than the regular ones. Yeah, so we're definitely going to need more than 1 solar still, because of how slow they are processing. It seems like I might need 1 solar still per person just to manage the water. We do have some coconuts to keep us alive short term, but we'll definitely need to get more of those going. Now, for those who didn't see at the beginning of the game, while this is early access, you are supposed to be able to complete the entire story. And then what is missing and why it's early access, if we look on here, you'll notice there'll be some stuff like, it looks like the animal traps and all that aren't in yet. There's certain like things like scarecrows that aren't in yet. So they've got some of the tech trees are done, some of them are still missing things. Okay, so you're still good here. Okay. Got some stuff on the extremities. Okay, so you're gonna stop and do that. Yeah, so you're still working on rope and all that. Okay. And we're just gathering what we can, building what we can. It definitely needs to be a thing where we gotta get this expedition going at some point. Because everything here is like, do your first expedition, send your expedition, do all these things. But I need the food and water, and my concern is sending someone out with provisions to go after that before our provisions are stabilized back home. And then, you know, just pretty much dying on that regard. And we need more stone. And you're researching fishing. Okay, so let's see here. So for you, I still need 1 rope and a bucket. So let's go to our crafting bench. So the bucket needs 2 ropes, so 1, 2, 3 rope and a bucket. And we'll be able to queue it up until the rope's done. And we can try all that. But yeah, like I said, I think it'd say aesthetically it looks very Don't Starve. Well, it's more colony management, like oxygen not included. It's just instead of doing like all the chemistry and all that kind of stuff like Oni has, where it's all like closed loop and all that, it's, you know, scavenging, bringing materials back, and building stuff. But it kind of feels like the buildings work a little Oni-like, just, you know, again, without the piping and the wiring together and all that kind of nonsense. Okay. So you should now be able to make the bucket here. That said, unless they remove people from being allowed to work on certain things, it does seem like it's kind of hard to get the right people working the right tasks without manually getting involved. Now, the solution could be that we make it so only our researcher is allowed to research and only our crafter is allowed to craft. But I don't think it's that big of a difference. So honestly, I'm just kind of ignoring it. Most likely what will happen is when we get to the point of needing advanced research, it'll be a kind of a self-solving problem in that, you know, the one person who can do it will be the only one able to go there. 0 mortars exploding on orbital bombardment beam targets. Yep. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna have rain, so our solar stills aren't gonna work as well today, but everyone's resolve went up a little bit more because no one's horrifically dying yet. We'll get there. Okay, so we got the wooden bucket. Let's go ahead and put a second one of the stills up. Try and keep water coming in. How are you doing? You're still fine. So we're quickly exhausting a bunch of the materials nearby. Mild hypothermia on Infinity Simplex. Let's have you not do that then. Okay. Alright, so it looks like you're good now. You got a little bit cold. You're dehydrated. Oh, you're dehydrated. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so that'll be the last of our coconuts, unfortunately. You just turned on the heater in your bedroom. Actually just did, yep. Dehydration can be, you know, rough. Rongor is losing health. I mean, we've dealt with the dehydration now. You should no longer be dehydrated. Okay, so got the fishing post done. Water is still proving to be a problem. We get the rain barrel going here. Meanwhile, where is the fishing post? Okay, so 4 rope and a barrel. So we need 2 planks. Now we're basically out of supplies. So you just need food, so let's have you go down here. You'll enjoy yourself a little snack. Now we're going to get you out there collecting more stuff. No, your character got hypothermia, and then the other character, Rongor's character, got dehydration. Why are you continuing to lose health? Oh, you're still dealing with dehydration. You didn't get enough water to recover from it. Ah. That's not great. Okay. I'll have you just go to sleep for right now. So you can go to the island. It wants me to kick a tree. That might be able to give us a couple of coconuts. And a couple of coconuts will give us a little bit more time with water. Cool. Work the tree. I wonder if I choose to do this and then work the area. Okay, yeah, you'll do it. Cool, cool. So you successfully kicked the tree. Got a coconut. Rongor is not doing so great. Go eat another coconut. Each character has their own skills, traits, and conditions. Chose their needs. The resolve, if it gets too far, they'll pack up and leave. The conditions are based on their needs, and their skills will increase with training. Cool. I know, just reading over that whole thing. There's always those things in these games early on where you just have like more and more and more text to deal with. That's like, okay, I could use a little less wall of text for a little bit. Alright. So it should take you out of the dehydration concern. Recently dehydrated. Gotcha. Okay. So you're no longer considered dehydrated, but you won't have quite as much energy because you were recently dehydrated. You'll be getting up soon, then Rongor can go to sleep. Alright. So the stink pit requires 5 waste and does reduce mood. So you can go ahead and like put the stink pit on one of the other islands, I guess, maybe. Have them effectively export it. Alright. You continue to work on all that. And when all that's done, you'll come back and drop that off. It starts speeding the game up a little bit because it is just taking a while for stuff to get done. But yeah, so far it seems reasonable, like, the management of your various resources seems like it's not too far off. Considering it's dropping in early access only in a couple of days. We can have that. Alright, you probably going to need to get back here and start taking care of yourself. So you bring the raft back. It's a little bit more manual than, say, oxygen not included and all that kind of stuff. But even then, it's not too bad. So you're going to need more water. I'll have you take the raft. Have a little bit more stuff up here. Got a coconut over there, so let's move and work this area, maybe. But yeah, so we're going to be in trouble pretty soon if we don't start getting more water happening. But right now, we're kind of hurting on supplies. I'm going to grab that coconut. We're going to start scavenging that material. It's looking like we're starting to tap out the area for the stuff I'm seeing that I can put to use. Okay. Alright, so we got the water barrel. That's going to be 2 planks and a rope. So, rope, plank, plank. Meanwhile, for our next research, that's a bigger water thing, so we can have an advanced one. Perform basic research and all that. So that's going to require a bunch of research we don't have access to. Field pharmacy. Let's grab the study nook. Unless there's something that's like you should really grab that. Okay. Yeah, so grab the study nook. Because it seems to be that's how you're going to train up your character to have better skills. Like, they'll level just on their own, which just makes do the things you're already doing faster. But then it seems like after that, you could then train yourself to have, like for the oxygen not included comparison, you can get a point in digging, which makes your character dig better. But if you then take, like, the hardened digging, you can dig materials you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Island crumbles. Crumbles saying faster than you can say R. Debris that isn't only floating out there, the leftovers from failed islands. These crumbles are barely holding together, but maybe long enough for you to grab something useful. First are small crumbles. Step in those and it becomes unstable. It's only a matter of time before it sinks. There's also mega crumbles. Stable enough, they won't sink unless you harvest everything on it, stumps excluded. Unlike islands, crumbles never come back. Gotcha. So basically it's saying these are temporary resources. Once you grab them, they're gone. So where there was a little island over here that we looted, it's gone now. Actually, take out the raft looking for more. You can just get a couple of coconuts. I'd feel a lot better about doing the expedition. Alright, it's warning me that you're going to get hypothermia if we keep going. Yeah, so the safe temperature range for you is 10°C at the lowest, and you're at 9°C. So you're a little below what you can handle. That's fine. I was on the fence about having you go out there anyways. That just kind of forced me to do the return. So I think what we'll do is, regardless of our supplies, pretty soon we'll go ahead and try an expedition and see what that's like. Okay, so with that, I should be able to now make the water barrel. So we can store some of this water should we manage to get any kind of a lead, because we should be able to get a lead, I'm assuming, with 2 of those. Alright, day 5 begins. Everyone's resolve has gone up a little. We're having a clear day, which means you should have better water production. Okay, what do I need for the food again? Pour rope in a barrel. I'm gonna still need more rope than that, unfortunately. Okay. So you're in relatively good shape. We'll set you to be Doug. But in the meantime, you drive the raft. Let's go pull up those little islands up there. Actually, you know what? Change of plan. Drop you back to normal speed for a moment. Have you disembark real fast. Okay, so we have the study nook. That requires 4 planks. Okay, but first, before that, I'm going to go ahead and just send the expedition out there. Because I don't know if that's what's causing us grief or not. So I'll have Rongor go, because you're the one able to scavenger the best. And I think the other 2 will stay back. And we will choose Doomed. Choose Provisions. 2 coconuts, 2 grilled fish. And cargo-wise, I think insufficient provisions. There we go. Alright, so the expedition's on its way. The rest of you are just going to keep on researching now. So we got the campfire, the cooking station, all that. A burrow bed. Let's see, slightly more comfortable than logs. Keeps you from getting wet. Standing torch. A workbench that we can make tools with. Let's get on that on the list. We'll try our best just to keep things moving while we have our expeditions on the way. Yeah, it says open hatch number 75. We'll see how that works. Alright. In the meantime, those are producing water. It's a bit of a mess, unsinkable. Yeah, so my assumption is we'll get all the supplies to start getting this running, and then we'll end up putting rooms inside the island to do various things as we expand our colony. And that's probably for a performance consideration. They probably hand wave to not simulate everyone. They just put them down below and the room just kind of runs at a rate. Alright, so we can go to the study nook. So we can get that built real quick. Okay, so you are Infinity. Infinity is kind of like our captain. Have you stay messing just to do that. Okay, and Rongor's about halfway to... I wanted you to explore... D6? Yes, I want me to actually have you explore way up there. I missed that it wanted me to go to a specific location that's farther away. That's fine. We still want to check out where we're going. I mostly want to just try the different game mechanics real fast. Because then after a bit, we might switch over to Syntopia, which is the other game I'm going to check out before its release. Because so far, this hasn't been bad. It does seem to have a pretty slow pacing around it, considering we're running at double time now. Now, it could just be I'm not doing things in the order they expect or whatever. That's one of the reasons why let me get the expedition out. It's trying to tell me to go do it. Yeah, so this seems to be for the actual main story. But it's also kind of like right now where we're looking at it, and it is early access, so we can't finish the story. It's the fact that there's all of these things that have the coming soon kind of coming out. Part of me is like, this is cool. I would definitely want to check those out when we get there. But I do appreciate that the game is technically finishable in its current state. Oh, Nell, you cranked the simulation up the full speed. Way over 9,000. Okay, fine, at least 3 times. Flowtech Corp disclaimer. At this speed, survivors will lose health and burn through their needs much faster than usual. If you blink, someone will probably regret it. Okay, fine. Let's just kind of pick up the speed to see this expedition. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm guessing the way the expedition will work is it'll be an area just like this, that maybe there'll be like some story elements or whatever, depending on where you go. But basically it's a way to like go off, grab some resources, you come back. Over time, that kind of resets, so it is where you get your renewable resource. Okay, so you gained a level in medicine. View expedition. Whoa, long trip. Alright. First rule of survival. Think, dang it. Always bring your imaginary friend? Right, no. The second rule. Survival 102, resurfacing islands. Of course, I remember. I can use float regulators to resurface islands. All it takes is a bit of wood. Luckily, the design is incredulously simple. Perfect. Incredulously simple? That's a weird word. Perfect. Now grab some driftwood floating next to the raft. Let's see what we can scavenge around here. Great, I'll supervise. Don't ask me to help. I don't have arms. Also, I'm a coconut. Expedition exploring. Gathering the resources to take back to your colony. Find unique items and maybe even survivors to rescue. Recruit. Expeditions can have multiple islands. Some may be submerged that need to be resurfaced. Resources collected at the expedition stay at that location. Bring resources home with your raft's cargo storage. Larger rafts can carry more. Time is ticking in all sectors, even during the expedition. Switch between your colony and expeditions when you like. Use a return home to send your crew home. You can send another expedition to the same location and explore more, get any resources you've left behind. Scientific Castle. You pry open Scientific Castle, unmistakable scent to corporate, blue slapshear and brain pan with like a wet cod. A new blueprint fragment. A float regulator. Hey, Server Lord, how's it going? Okay. So the thing I'm suddenly remembering is I still need to make that fishing post, didn't I? What did I need to make that happen? 4 rope and a bucket. Of which I can accommodate 0 rope. Alright, so research complete on the workbench. Which I also do not have materials for. Let's see. Cargo, small raft dock. Outpost barge. Combat dummy. Study pod. Water tank. Advanced sword distill. Waste bin. Fishing trap. Was there farming down here that we hadn't gotten yet? That's raft building. Okay. I don't imagine we can do that yet. We'll go ahead and get the rain collector to keep you busy. Okay. Good going, relaxing for a few hours, then going for a big shop. $800 budget this week. Got 3 people coming during the week staying here. Gotta feed them. Plus visiting a Buddhist temple tomorrow and making a fruit platter for them. Gotcha. That sounds interesting. For a person who's floating in the middle of the ocean on driftwood, you seem awfully happy. A survivor lounges atop a wave-carved slab of driftwood. Squinting at the horizon, they look content and express interest in finding a group to settle down with. Welcome the new survivor. Alright, I mean, they genuinely were content from the looks of it. You are losing health because you need to sleep. Heat stroke, saltwater sores. That suddenly makes me wonder if you are able to build stuff. All the sharks left? Yeah, they migrate. In the game, it's one of those things that, like, every so often. It's a jackpot, but I didn't see what the jackpot was. Yeah, I was gonna say is I'm curious with these rafts. I was gonna see if you could actually build on the raft as well. So a place to sleep on the raft. Hello, shiny things. All right. Did you, like, pass out and sleep or something? Yeah, so you're recovering from heat stroke and all that. Yeah, well, with that, let's go ahead and send you home. Keep the rope. Keep the coconut. I mean, we have dropped nowhere near as much as we can carry. Gonna have them do that. Okay, so they're gonna be doing everything really slowly. They're very not doing well. Okay, you got some stone. Alright. I just figure if we're here, we should try and grab at least, not necessarily a full payload. Give him something to eat. I mean, his hunger's not the problem. He's exhausted. And he's got penalty because he was floating. He's got heat stroke, and he's got saltwater exposure, which is from where he was out in the water. Like, his hunger's just in the yellow. It's not a problem there. Meanwhile, Rongor here could, like, properly use a sip of water. So maybe switch. Rongor can work faster right now. The rain collector got done. Not to worry about the rest of the stuff. Okay. Because we did send out a decent amount of supplies to get out here. So we do want to make sure those supplies actually go to some time of use. Okay, so you're good there. Okay, so some reeds did spoil. We got more resolve on our 2 people here, and then the people traveling didn't have any effect on the resolve either way. Waste piles. Your colony's waste storage can be increased using waste bins. When food spoils or survivors use the toilet, waste is created. Every 10 units above your storage limit will cause a waste pile. They stink and are very bad for the island beauty and mood. Waste piles slowly degrade over time. You can dig them up when you have enough storage. Waste can be used for soil fertilizer. Eventually you'll want lots of it for farming. Okay, now if we check in that, yeah, so it's a mess because of the waste pile. And then they said if your people get too unhappy, they will leave. So with that, though, we did get earlier on a stinky pit. And the stinky pit just basically helps mitigate some of the waste by burying it. But we can get a waste storage that'll be better. Okay. Yes, that's minus 10, that's minus 25. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, in the meantime, we'll go ahead and let them just run, because they've got the expedition on their way home right now. And I want to see how that ends. And I do think once the expedition gets back, we might end up switching over to Syntopia. Just kind of feeling like with this game, I like the idea what's going on here. Part of me is not super, like, looking to go super deep into the game, knowing that a lot of the functionality isn't here yet. They've got all these, like, locked skills and all that kind of coming up here. Locked starting classes. I like the idea of it, though. As people have mentioned, it looks kind of Don't Starve-ish, but, like, it has a little bit more of the colony management of Oxygen Not Included. Now, granted, it feels like I have to be a little bit more hands-on with the basic, like, survival stuff than Oxygen Not Included, where, you know, only you just queue up a bunch of tasks. But because of needing to do, like, the raft and all that, it does seem like it kind of forces you to manually intervene pretty constantly, because like there's effectively a radius around here that they'll manage. But I gotta manually move them around. I don't think that'll be a problem, especially if you like can bridge islands together in the long run. But this is releasing in early access in 2 days, where you'll be able to pick up and play basically the same version we've got going now. It definitely feels like it's got a lot of good ideas, but, you know, being fresh launched into early access, it does also feel like it needs a little bit more time to cook on the, a little bit on the pacing side of things, and then the task management. Because for a lot of this stuff, you want the people to be able to, like, kind of, you queue up the things, you self-manage. And all that. Actually, I could probably tell them to disembark all the way up here. The scrawny survivor clings to a chunk of wood, eyeing your supplies like a seagull to a sandwich. My last group didn't believe in sharing, they mutter, or rationing, or planning. Turns out you can't survive on hope. Well, I can't get you an invite. This gives me Don't Starve vibes. Yeah, no, that's what we've been kind of saying is, like, aesthetically, it kind of, the design kind of reminds you of Don't Starve. Gameplay-wise, it's very not Don't Starve, but aesthetically, it's kind of got a bit of a Don't Starve thing going for it. Water storage is full. Yeah, like, it'd be nice to be able to actually see... It says water storage is full, but I don't see where I can... Oh, I mean, I guess it's up here somewhere. Okay, so if I click, it does stay open. Actually, not a big fan of that. Oh, man, my water storage is only 5. That's pretty rough. But yeah. No, I think this game has a good start, but it definitely does feel like it could use a little bit more time baking, which, again, it's not even out yet available. You can't play it yet or buy it yet. It is releasing into early access in 2 days and all that stuff. So I do hope to see where it goes, but it definitely feels like it needs a little bit more time to cook. Just like you said, it kind of feels like the pacing thing where I'm now sitting pretty often at like 3 times speed just to keep things moving. Which, again, there's quite a bit of manual thing. I do appreciate that they do let you have an even faster speed, but the game's like, hey, by the way, be careful. If someone has a problem at this speed, they will die suddenly. So with that said, what we're going to go ahead and do is I will save this. That's fine. We apparently already have a save. And it does seem to automatically save every day, and then you can choose to manually save on top of that. So let me go ahead and get this out of here. But yeah, so I like where we're starting with Oceaneers. I do think I would wait for it to be more done personally. But it is a completable game right now, which is certainly better than a lot of early access where you get to play the first 20% of the game and then wait 5 years. So that said, what's going to happen here is I'm going to go ahead and close this game. We're going to get this out of the way for a minute. And I am going to boot up Syntopia, which we did play a playtest of Syntopia a while back. And meanwhile, for those over on YouTube, the stream will be dropping on the YouTube side and then coming back up. It's just the nature of how I have to deal with things on YouTube, is I do have to, like, get that all sorted out. Bear with me. I'm going to try and have it so it'll pass you off to the next one. It'll take me just a minute to get all that configured. Let's see. Syntopia. Let's redeem some sinners. Syntopia. You won't hear it yet, but it's alarmingly loud for me. I'll get it sorted out in just a moment. Syntopia. Syntopia. And for those who didn't see this, we played the playtest during its last, I believe its last playtest. It is a tycoon game where you run hell. And it's got some pretty wild stuff going on with it. Alright, so I got you all set up here. I'll close the YouTube chat for now while I flip everything over. Okay, so I need to edit. I'll get this on your screen real fast in the meantime and get some audio going so you're not sitting here in silence. Okay, so you can see it now, and now you should be able to hear it. All right, let me go and grab that. Customization, redirect. Do this, save. Okay, so we end that one, and it'll kick everyone over to the other one. And then close that, pull up the other one.